Hi folks, welcome back to Tech Academy. Today we're going to walk through techOMS. We're going to look at inventory management within techOMS and discover how techOMS empowers you to gain real-time inventory visibility for your inventory levels, optimize stock placement, and minimize stockouts. My name is Adam Lavergne. Appreciate you coming today. Let's start with screen share up and running. All right, so I'm going to start with a quick recap of some of our basic features within techOMS. When we talk about inventory and we talk about optimizing inventory, really a couple things come into play. First and foremost is order routing. Time in transit, otherwise known as dynamic order routing, plays a critical role in this. Time in transit order routing within techOMS leverages our TechShip shipping solution. And what it does is it looks at every single order, all of the different fulfillment nodes for that order, and determines based off of selection criteria, typically lowest estimated shipping cost, which location to fulfill the order to minimize or reduce that estimated shipping cost. So right off the bat, we're saving money as quickly as possible, as well as possible, by placing that order, routing that order to the fulfillment location with the lowest estimated shipping cost. Utilizing the inventory that is best suited to get to that customer as cheaply as possible or as cost effectively as possible. The next component that comes in that really helps drive that inventory optimization. I'm going to join two components. So the first one is called multi-channel synchronization. Essentially what multi-channel synchronization is the ability within techOMS to have multiple shopping carts and or marketplaces connected to a single instance or single account within techOMS. You're a retailer, you're a brand, you've got an online presence, you've got a Shopify store, you've got a WooCommerce store. Maybe you're receiving API orders directly from another vendor partner. Within your techOMS account, these three sales channels, sources for orders, are visible in a single location. Centralized data, centralized information. You're able to look at your entire portfolio in a singular view. That makes it really easy to see what's selling and where, but this also ties in with real-time inventory visibility. And real-time inventory visibility is a fantastic feature that works with the multi-channel synchronization. Essentially what real-time inventory visibility does, when an order is received, let's say we'll use Shopify as an example, when an order is received from your Shopify store and allocated to techOMS, techOMS then sends an inventory adjustment in real time to the other connected shopping carts or sales channels. What that does, say you get an order for 10 units from Shopify, techOMS will push an inventory adjustment to all other connected sales channels to reduce the available to promised inventory by those 10 units that you just received. Why this is important? This allows 100% of your inventory to be available across all sales channels at all times. Gone are the days of discrete inventory where you set aside 100 units for your Shopify account, 100 units for your WooCommerce, 100 units for your marketplace, and then have to manually adjust inventory on a daily basis between those. What inevitably happens using historical data to provide forecasting going forward, you end up out of stock. And again, if you're not checking your inventory on a daily basis and balancing your inventory on a daily basis, you can be out of stock for at least a day, if not more, by managing inventory discreetly within each channel. With techOMS, all of the inventory available is shared across all of your sales channels and or marketplaces. Maximize the sales potential, to the victor go the spoils, until all of your inventory reduces to 0 units. And that real-time inventory adjustment drastically reduces the chances of overselling, again, because it's adjusting in real time. But at the same token, you're drastically reducing the chances of stock out. When you stock out, it's literally you've sold out of inventory. So again, ensuring a consistent delivery service. Let's walk into techOMS or step into techOMS and walk through what that looks like in techOMS. So again, I'm going to jump into my demo account. This demo account, bear with me here. So first and foremost, when we look at our sales orders, we have a column called sales channel. And this sales channel really shows the source or the origin. So again, my demo account, I only have connected to a Shopify channel, but you can see here other plugins that we have, Amazon, Brightsite, EDI, ability to import via CSV, et cetera, et cetera. As these are populated with your source, what you're able to do is you're able to turn around and view either everything in its entirety, or you could turn around and just show what orders are by a specific channel. So in the case of Ed Store, looks like we don't have any orders available for that. Again, Shopify, we have a lot, but again, you can filter your orders to see by specific channel or you can clear your filtering and you can see all of the orders in totality. Recently, we've been doing a lot of test orders where we've created the order within techOMS itself. In that case, you're not going to see that sales channel attached to it. So again, we talked about the sales channels available. You can see that here under your sales channel, the name of the different plugins available. Let's go back to inventory. What does this mean for inventory? Well, this is our multi-channel synchronization, a WooCommerce account, a Shopify account. What does that mean for inventory? That means that when we get an order for this test SKU, that order is allocated in techOMS. The stock is deprecated from our inventory, and techOMS sends an adjustment, a real-time adjustment to each of the connected sales channels. For example, if we got an order for 100 units, right now there's 4,777 units available. What techOMS will do, allocate the inventory attached to the order, immediately send a real-time adjustment to all of the connected sales channels, and the adjustment is SKU minus 100 units. It will take that balance within the sales channel and subtract 100 units from it. And that keeps the real-time inventory in sync with the inventory position from techOMS. When we talk about inventory flow, techOMS synchronizes with the warehouse or your WMS on a nightly basis. The WMS maintains system of record, system of truth when it comes to inventory position. We sync nightly. This inventory gets updated based on any receipt of goods, any adjustments out, etc. Once that synchronization happens with the WMS, by default, so let me jump into recurring jobs. What you'll see on the typical perspective is you'd send inventory to sales channel every 24 hours. Typically, this job is running in active client systems. We receive the inventory from the warehouse. We ingest that into techOMS. techOMS sends a full file refresh to the sales channels, resetting those values so everybody's in alignment. And then, as I said, as orders flow throughout the course of the day, those inventory adjustments happen in real time, keeping each individual sales channel in balance with what you have as your available to promise. So multi-channel synchronization, real-time inventory adjustments, and then again, when we talk about the order routing, we have to come into our sales order rules, and we can take a quick look at that, refresh our memory on that. The first thing we do is we define which locations or which fulfillment warehouses we want to check from a cost of shipping perspective. It's as simple as just create the row and select the warehouse you want. In this case here, we have a GTA warehouse, a West Coast warehouse, East Coast warehouse, and a Montreal warehouse. And then what we've done is we've assigned priority sequence. You could use this as a fulfiller scorecard. Maybe you have some fulfilling locations that have a higher SLA. Maybe you have some fulfillment locations that have a higher, lower fulfilling cost. You want to prioritize based off of either SLA or fulfilling costs. I'll come back to that in a second. The next thing we want to do is verify that the locations have sufficient inventory to fulfill the entirety of the order. Within techOMS, that condition is called function enough stock. Specify it in the separate warehouses. It's an OR condition. Function enough stock in GTA, in West, in East, in Montreal. When time in transit inventory runs, the system will look at the warehouses, verify stock for the order, and if the condition is true, aka warehouse has stock, we move to the warehouse selection process. And the warehouse selection process is where we're defining what the criteria is for selecting the optimal warehouse. As mentioned, warehouse priority, you can define, back to that scorecard example, you can define your warehouses based on a scorecard, based on an SLA. Maybe you're defining your warehouses based off of cost of fulfillment, lowest cost being the highest priority warehouse. In this case, if you use warehouse priority, techOMS is going to route those orders to the warehouse that has the top priority as defined by yourselves. We also have the option of shortest time in transit, pretty much as it sounds. So techOMS is going to send the order to the location that has the lowest estimated delivery date. Worth noting, it looks at date only, not time. Why? In my 20 years in retail, air freight is a dirty word. The difference between shipping using time in transit, shortest time in transit, shipping via air versus shipping via ground, as we're building this out and doing a number of test orders, what we found is air freight would arrive 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, but your cost of delivery for air freight was $100+. Whereas your priority ground and typical golden triangle areas. In Canada, that would be considered Toronto, while Montreal is all next day deliverable by ground. You're looking at a cost anywhere from $10 to $15, significantly cheaper than air freight. The difference being air freight gets there tomorrow by 9 a.m., whereas express ground gets there tomorrow by 5 p.m. For the difference in a few hours of time, the cost is prohibitive. techOMS, when you select shortest time in transit, looks at the different fulfilling locations, the estimated delivery date, and selects the cheapest shipping service that equals the shortest time in transit. Today's March 27th. If the order were placed today, 4 warehouses, 4 services for each warehouse, so 12 services in total. Let's say we have 3 warehouses that can deliver tomorrow, the 28th. Air freight, express ground. techOMS will choose the express ground, as in both cases, the delivery date is tomorrow. And then the final selection criteria is lowest shipping cost. This does not look at time, this looks at strictly at price, and it's going to use the warehouse that fits the criteria lowest shipping cost. So again, for warehouses, techOMS will look at the cost of delivery for each location based off of the responses from the carriers used, and it's going to route the order to the location that has the lowest shipping cost, maximizing your fulfiller profitability. From here, we're able to add some details to that order. So you can see we're adding at the reference level the expected delivery date, the expected delivery days, the expected delivery day of week. This is more commonly added for shortest time, right? So shipping ice cream. If I'm shipping ice cream or I'm shipping something that requires cold chain, I now need to add coolant, ice packs, be it dry ice, to that order. Knowing the expected delivery date and number of days that that parcel is going to be in transit allows me to create secondary rules specific to coolant and or packaging required. At the same token, you could also use some of the determined values to populate. Should it be warehouse priority? Should it be a lowest cost of shipping, etc.? And then lastly, override the carrier and service that came in from the order using what was selected by time in transit. Maybe the order, lowest time in transit, maybe the order came in requesting FedEx ground, but when techOMS did the call through TechShift to run the time in transit lowest cost of shipping, the winner wasn't FedEx ground, maybe the winner was Tusk Logistics, or maybe the winner was LaserShip, or maybe the cheapest rate return was UPS ground. techOMS is going to override the carrier and service on that order to match what was returned by the time in transit call. And then it's going to pass all of that information to the WMS, including the revised carrier and service level. This is important in the event that you have workflows set up within your WMS. Think FedEx Express versus FedEx Ground, or you might do Express as your priority pick, start your day, pick all your Express orders, pack all of your Express orders to make sure that they're ready to ship. As FedEx literally Express orders come on a separate truck or picked up on a separate truck. It allows for the ability to get into secondary optimization within the warehouse or support additional workflows within the warehouse by providing that information up front. We touched on time in transit. We touched on the different sales channels available. We've walked through from an inventory perspective how techOMS updates inventory from the WMS and subsequently updates the sales channel, both in a batch update job as well as the ongoing adjustments. And you can see that here. If we look at, let's do a search to send inventory. Here you can see sending inventory adjustment, sending inventory adjustment, sending inventory adjustment. I have a couple fatal errors in some of the accounts, but again, it is my demo environment. But this is where you can see that techOMS went ahead and ran a job to send inventory adjustments based off of received or inventory levels received. Here's a perfect example. Warehouse 3, SKU PC002, reduced the inventory by 9 units. and push that across to our IM test account. From a visibility perspective, you're also able to track that should you need to. Any questions thus far in terms of real-time inventory, visibility, or multi-channel synchronization? Nothing yet. Feel free to drop any questions into the chat if should you have any other questions from the chat perspective. That summarizes today's webinar. Today was a bit more of a short and sweet approach as we just looked at the basic inventory component and how techOMS helps with inventory and optimizing inventory management and fulfillment. Let's look at our calendar to see what we have coming up next week. All right, next webinar is going to be looking at packaging requirements and how to set up packaging requirements based off of estimated time in transit. So we're going to look at the rules engine for passing packaging requirements and create a bit of a decision tree in that regard. So if no further questions, you can either send them to me in the chat or email them to me after the fact, and I'll get back to you. If not, we'll tune in next month for our next installment. Thanks very much, folks. Have a good day.